Welcome to Right on the Mark with your host, Mark Young. Today we're going to talk about memories of Pleasant Hills and Century 3 Mall. Today I have the lovely Kim with me. Say hello, lovely Kim.
Hello, lovely Kim.
That was quite the intro. But yeah, as I says, I'd like to talk about Century 3 Mall and the area where we once lived at before where we live now. There were so many things to do back in the 80s that Century 3 was huge in the area of Pleasant Hills. And it wasn't just Pleasant Hills. I mean, there was, I was part of Clareton, and there was other areas, West Mifflin. So it all circumferenced the whole area.
Did you say South Park?
South Park, yeah. South Park too, where we lived. I just remember, growing up as a teenage kid, I want to say early 80s, maybe late 70s when the mall first opened. I believe it was 1979 when the mall first opened. But I'd go down with my mom and my brothers and sisters, and it seemed like a long trek to get there. It took forever to get there, Yeah, you went down Seneca, you got on 906, you dodged all the landslide rocks, and you got to Webster Hollow Road. So you took Webster Hollow Road, windy road, all the way to the top of 51, and then it was a straight shot.
I think when we first started going, I don't remember going that way. I think we went out onto 51. Me and my
Oh, you went 70.
I think we did. And I remember my mom really didn't want to go to that mall because they were talking about how it was going to cave in. It was going to...
I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah. It's because it was built over on a slag heap. And there were like mines underneath the area and everything, and so they just were.
So they thought it was going to sink.
Collapse, yeah, just similar to what happened up in Washington a couple years
ago.
Oh
yeah.
And how they didn't settle. It didn't settle enough, and I remember for the longest time, and of course we're like, preteens, we're like, come on, mom, it's not gonna.
It's not gonna cave in. Yeah, come on, no doubt.
And then, the longer it was there and nothing happened.
Yeah. One of my memories, first memories of the mall is coming down Large Hill. It was a big hill at the top. So you come down the windy road. It's probably a mile or two long, and you get at the bottom and you see the mall. And over past the mall is like this huge slag, I guess, mountain, you'd say, with these trees on top of it. And my mom would say, hey, doesn't that look like mountains on TV where Indians would pop out and start shooting at the cowboys? Yeah, I thought that was funny. So every time I saw that...
keep thinking that you were going to see the Indians on their
Yeah, the Indians were going to pop out and just start shooting at the cowboys over Century 3 Mall. But that was one of my first memories there. And we used to go there in groups as kids in high school.
Yeah, that was the place to go. There was nowhere... by the time we started driving, Monessen was pretty... desolate. There were not places to shop. There was really nothing to do down there. So Century 3 was the place to go.
Oh, for sure. Charleroi had some stores. They definitely had some stores. They were better stores than Monessen. But once you got tired of the Charleroi stores, you definitely had to go to Century 3 Mall. That was the place to go.
We could have went to Bell Vernon, but that was limited too.
Yeah. There still wasn't as many stores. If you wanted to go buy shoes, if you wanted to go buy a shirt or coats.
Or a suit for the prom.
Oh, that's right.
Suit for the Christmas dance.
Yeah, you went to the mall. Some of the stores down there I could remember. Don't remember them all, but I remember a shoe store there. I think it was a shoe store. It's called Wild Pair, and they had the craziest shoes there. And I remember me and my buddy Jimbo would go down there and say, let's go get some crazy shoes.
And funny thing, when you brought that up today, I, as the shopper that I am, don't even remember that store.
I don't know how you can't remember.
I don't know.
I swear it was by the merry-go-round, or it was near the merry-go-round.
Maybe.
You walked into the food court. Like if you parked on the upper deck, you walked into the food court, and I want to say it was on the right-hand side, past like the gyro hut or something like that. But that's what kind of stuck out to me is, everything always tastes better at the mall too. Gyros taste better. I used to love their lemonade. There was a lemonade store there.
Yeah.
That you get like 25-cent refills for lemonade. So we'd go get gyros and lemonade.
How about that? Remember the pizza place that was like right on Like it was on that corner.
Oh,
the
yeah,
food court.
yeah.
And they had Sicilian or big pieces.
It was like a pizzeria. That was really good.
Was it?
Pizzeria, yeah. I think it was called...
It's not the same name as the one that's out here now.
I don't think so. It wasn't La Pizzeria. That was in Menneson, but it
yeah.
was another pizzeria that was good. But everything definitely tastes better at the mall. I remember one of my good friends, Yanni, used to make a day out of it. He would go shopping in the morning, have lunch, and then go shopping in the afternoon.
And then did he stay and have dinner too?
I don't know.
Not?
I don't know, maybe.
My mom and my sister and I used to have some pretty long shopping sessions at Century Fair
I could
Mall.
believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I can remember going down there with like your family,
Really?
and with you and your sister would take forever in the store trying on clothes, and I'm just like outside of the girls' store, just people watching, and just leaning over the banister and just going, "Wow, the mall closes." Like if it was Sunday, the mall closed at 5, and it was 4, and I'm like, "We just got here. We only got an hour to walk around." So that was always crazy. Was the mall closed early? I think it was 6 o'clock on a Sunday.
Yeah, I think so too.
But
Yeah.
you always took so long in the store. I didn't know what you were doing. You must have just been trying on clothes. So
Probably.
you weren't there just to walk around and people watch like me. You were there actually to shop, and I wasn't as big a shopper as
And
you.
you stuck with me.
Oh, boy.
Yay.
Yes, I did. But quite the memories there. I mean,
Yeah.
just some of the other stores. Heck, there was a lot of restaurants there. Remember Wolfie's was the restaurant?
Is that the one? Was it on the lower level?
Yeah, it was on the lower level.
Over by the dog where they animal. You probably don't.
Oh,
know that.
yeah, I remember the dog
Okay.
store. Yeah.
I used to have to go and look at the dogs all the time.
Yeah, we do that. Wolfie's was there. I mean, you used to get your hair cut there, didn't they? Had a hair place.
I went to Philip Lucy.
Yeah, Philip Lucy there. We used to live in Cecil. When we moved to Cannonsburg,
Yeah.
we would still go back there for the first couple years because of
Right.
your hair, and we would just let Sean run around the mall or Logan
Yeah.
run around the mall as you got
Well,
your
no,
hair
I
cut.
don't think Logan. Not yet.
No
Logan
Logan
wasn't
yet.
there. No.
Oh, okay. So it was just Sean.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of toy stores there too. Not just in the mall, but I mean around the mall. Remember Children's Palace was there?
Yeah.
Uh,
And then
Toys
that was
R Us?
Toys R Us. I think
Yeah.
it changed to Toys R Us afterwards.
Yeah, I could still picture the big banner on Toys R Us. It said Sega Saturn. Here.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, what is Sega Saturn? To find out that it was just a game.
Game console.
Yeah, a game console that you played. But it was $300. I'm like, whoa, no, that's way too much. But, you took Sean in one of those stores, you couldn't get him out. He'd
Yeah.
be kicking and screaming.
Well, he usually, I think, always ended up with a dump truck of some sort or a
he had to-
backhoe or something.
Yeah, he definitely had to buy something.
Yeah. So,
But we always went down there for other stuff too. It wasn't just for the mall. I mean, I can remember going down there with like Jimbo and Lauren, and we'd go to Cool Springs. We'd go to the batting cages.
yeah.
We'd go
that
miniature
area.
golf and
Yeah. Movie theater.
oh yeah, the movie
I
theater.
mean,
We'd
we
definitely
would go at least a couple times a month to the movies.
there. Yeah, definitely every weekend we'd
Yeah.
go see a movie. Even if nothing came out, we would just go for something to do. We would just go see a movie, and of course you'd have to eat.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of places to eat down there. I think we've tried them all. When your mom and dad came down, Doc and Jackie loved the Georgetown Inn.
Yeah. Yorkshire.
Oh, Yorkshire
Inn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they built that Georgetown Center, which was like a banquet facility and everything, but it was owned by the same place.
Yeah.
Remember, that's where.
Oh, that's right,
There was
yeah.
a couple weddings there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I do remember. But it was the Yorkshire Inn. Yeah.
Actually, that's where I had my baby shower for.
Oh yeah, I remember
for
that.
Sean.
Yeah. Oh, we had very memorable dinners there. I mean, that was for special occasions only. It was kind of upscale restaurant. I remember when I first got my job, my first legitimate job working for the hospital, like in 1990. Doc and Jackie took me there and gave me a watch. It was like a big to-do. They gave me a watch. And to this day, I still think I have that watch. I'm not sure if it's ticking right now, but I still have the watch that they bought me for my first job. So, yeah, thanks to Doc and Jackie. There was other places to eat there. I mean, come on. There was...
Steak and Ale. We would go there all the time. Like we'd go out to eat before the Christmas dance or whatever. I don't understand that. Like we would drive all the way down there, go out to eat, and then drive all the way back to Menneson High School to go to the dance. But
Yeah.
there weren't very many places around us to go.
Yeah, I mean, you had to go down there. That was the happening place. I mean, you went down 51, and it wasn't just the restaurants and the shops. It was things to do. I mean, there were a Southland 9 where they had nine theaters.
Oh, right.
There was the upper part behind the mall, which they developed a little later on.
Yeah.
They put their first Walmart in. I mean, I think.
Well, remember that movie theater that was up there too, and it was a $2 show. I don't know if they still have that there or not.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
We haven't been up there in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, there was a Chili's up there.
Oh, yeah.
We used to go that way to Pitt whenever you were attending. Pitt would go to 885.
Right.
Yeah, me,
The
Jimbo,
back
and
road.
Lauren would go the back road to see you and Ricky at school, and we knew that road like the back of our hand. You turned up right by Bowser Pontiac on the right on top of the hill, and you went 885.
Yep.
Those were some good times.
I always had to learn the shortcuts to places.
Oh,
right?
no doubt, no doubt. Always had to do that. But, this all led into us moving to South Park.
Yeah.
I mean, we really liked it. We liked the area. A lot of good times there. A lot of things to do. We just never took into account all the congestion that we were going to have when we moved there.
Yeah, well, the first we moved into that townhouse first. For a year, we lived in that townhouse on Village Green Drive.
Yes, Village Green Drive.
That was, it was nice. We had that end unit, but we wanted somewhere closer. I was traveling, back when we first got married, we lived in Menneson, and that was when I worked at Century 3 Mall. I traveled down there like 5 days a week to go down and worked at the Limited. And then, you were still up here. You were still in like the Mon Valley area working.
Yeah, I was still working there. When we moved to the townhouse, I'd gone back to school to pharmacy technician school, and it was just easier because it was in downtown Pittsburgh. So, we split the drive in half by moving to South Park or the West Mifflin area. So it was only a half an hour into Pittsburgh. So that was a big to-do. I mean, we moved down there, and we were pretty super pumped, like with everything we had. I mean, a ton of fast food places.
How about the Brasserie? We used to go there all the time.
Yes, no doubt, the Brasserie.
That was after we moved down there.
Right. And one of my favorite restaurants down there that my brother-in-law worked at was Tiffany's. For sure. I mean, Tiffany's had some great food, and he always hooked us up. Could always remember going down there and telling Dew, "Hey, we're gonna be there on a Friday. That's prime rib. Save us the end piece." And he would save us the end piece of the prime rib. It was the biggest piece of prime rib that was served to anyone over there. And when they brought it out, people would just awe. People would the customers would just be in awe of that super huge piece of prime rib, bone-in prime rib. So that was great. And,
I remember we would go down there, like after we were 21, and we would go down there and we'd sit at the bar area, and we would just buy a couple drinks, and then he would bring out all this food. He'd be like, "Here, we have this left over. Here, we have that left over."
And then Kathy and Mike, the owners, would say, this is, here's dessert on us. Dessert's on the house. They would come out and visit us. So we were treated like royalty there. And we always recommended Doc and Jackie go there, too, to get the prime rib. And they always liked that, too.
Yeah.
Right next door was the elephant bar. Remember that?
Yeah.
They had that big elephant there.
Yeah.
And not too much further. I mean, heck, you were down near, the Liberty Tunnels.
Yeah.
So it was very convenient to move there. It was very convenient to everything, to shop.
Although the longer we lived there, the more congested it got.
Oh, for sure, sure.
You remember whenever you were in tech school, and we would get the bus.
Oh yeah,
park our car.
The 56G, I think it was.
We would park our car down at Ames parking lot, which is now Giant Eagle, I think.
Yeah, there's a big Giant Eagle there.
And we would park there, and then we'd catch the bus in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of memories on 51. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but the Monkey Bar was there. That was
up further.
Yeah, that was a crazy bar that whoever would come and visit, I would take them there because they're like, "What are you talking about, the Monkey Bar?" I'm like, "We got to go to the Monkey Bar." So I'd take my brother, Bots, or whoever would come over, and it'd be a good time there. It's always fun to go back there and travel to see how things have changed because the restaurants have changed now. There's like a Steak and Shake there. There's a Quaker Steak and Lube there. The large, I don't even know if the Large Hotel was there anymore. Remember we used to go to Large Hotel and get their hoagies and pizza, and the Hogfather.
Oh, right, yeah.
The Hogfather fish sandwich.
Yeah.
That was always a good place to go. But yeah, so we knew the area really well even before we moved there. But then when we moved there were so many other things we discovered. I mean, there was a wave pool there. There was Doritos who had great fish sandwiches.
Right.
We were so close to like the post office and to like the basketball courts. I can remember going to the basketball courts, which was down by the Yorkshire Inn on the way by the post office. That I'd actually getting pickup games down there, which was really fun. You know, you didn't know anyone there, but you had pickup games. Then we found out that I think Lev and Janet lived nearby, right?
Yeah, they lived down there. Jefferson.
In Jefferson Hills. Yeah, so Jefferson Hills is actually that was on Old Clareton Road, right? Jefferson Hills School District. Mm-hmm. We actually looked at lots there, I remember, because we were going to have Dell Stewart's company build us a house.
Remember that one that guy wanted? There was like a creek running through the like main area, and he was trying to sell us that.
Yeah, we were looking for lots there. I remember going with Jerry Luce to go look at a lot there. Right. And then there was another guy. We went to go look at this lot. There wasn't a creek that was running through it, but it was like on the way, windy road down towards the hospital. And, they were just building this plan. And I can't think of the guy's name.
I know what you're talking
He showed up in this Mercedes with his little windshield wipers on the headlights. I'm like, wow, you've made it.
You thought that, and I thought, ooh, we're way out of our league here.
Yeah.
I don't think this is what we need to be looking at.
And at that time, we had no idea that Allegheny County was the area that taxes would be higher. The bigger house that you build, and you pay an extra % for living in there. That we were all kind of blind to that. We just liked the area. That was the reason we moved there. And
well, when we found our house, our first house, it was on. It was actually South Park. We were in South Park School District, but our mailing address was Clareton. Mm-hmm. Our telephone number was a Pleasant Hills telephone number.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how that all set up
in that section. But we were on the Pleasant Hills side of South Park, so we were close to like the park area, but we weren't on the Bethel Park side of South Park. We were on the Pleasant Hill side.
But we were close to, I mean, like I said, the wave pool, but there was the zoo there. I remember the horse.
It was like a natural
park.
Like a preserve, like a natural.
Oh yeah, preserve. Wasn't there like cows and bulls there? Reserve, yeah. And Sean would get chased by like gooses or geese. Yeah, geese would chase Sean around. I remember taking him there a lot of times. Go see the horses. Just go to the park to see anything that was out there.
Did you say buffalo?
Yeah, buffalo. They had buffalo out there.
Yeah.
Deer.
They had a whole, like deer would be in there.
Yeah. I mean, it even goes back to our teenage years when we used to cruise around South Park. You just go there, park your car, and sit on your car, and people watch.
Well, I remember we used to go to the wave pool.
Yeah.
There.
We try to go to Tiffany's restaurants parties there, but we can never find them because South Park was so huge. It's so huge. There was no cell phones or GPSs back then. One time we just gave up and says we can't find the party, and we just went home.
It would be like it's at the Grove, the Willow Grove or something
in South Park. We're like, we have no idea.
Driving around,
and we couldn't find it, but we couldn't call anybody to to tell them that we can't find it. But those were always some good times there. I mean, heck, there was a lot of good times inside the mall. I can remember they brought some big talent in back then. I mean, this mall, from what I understand, was like one of the largest in the country. And the way it was designed was like a 3 or 4 tier. So you had escalators, you had steps, and you also had like inclines where you could, ramps where you could just walk up. And they'd rope off certain parts of the mall and they'd bring some talent in. And I remember the one time vividly that they had the Brady Bunch there.
I can remember that time too.
How can you not go see some of the Brady Bunch characters? And they had Cindy, Peter, and Greg there. And
let's set the tone here about how old we were at this time, because we were pushing Sean around in a stroller, so we were probably 27.
Yeah, but come on, it's the Brady Bunch. You have to go see them. It's the Brady Bunch, and they just so happen to be judging like talent. So they had like the cop from the Terminator there.
Oh, right. They were the judges.
They had, I don't know, like RuPaul there. They had lookalikes there. So they were judging lookalike talents that were there. And I could remember being so close. We were right above, Greg.
Table.
Yeah, Cindy, Peter, and Greg. And I looked down.
Looking over the railing down below.
And I looked down and I'm like, I got to get Cindy's attention. How can I get Cindy's attention?
I don't know. I'm glad I was not standing next to you at that time.
Yeah.
Just pushing Sean around in the stroller.
So I'm seeing the 3 Brady Bunch people there, and they're not even looking at me, but I yelled down below, I love you, Cindy. I couldn't even think of her real name. I just said, I love you, Cindy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and I continued to walk the other way.
Of course you did.
I don't know him.
Of course, the lovely Kim did. But yeah, that was real fun. That was a lot of fun. I can't remember if she looked up or not. And the funny part is,
she did.
She probably did. But the funny part is I have it on videotape.
Oh.
Back then, we had a video recorder, and we used to take it to the mall. That's how big Century 3 Mall was at the time. Was you brought your video camera if there was going to be some celebrities there.
Yeah.
So you brought it, and you took pictures, and you took video. I mean, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
Heck, there were so many other things going on. I can remember Baywatch showing up, and we were big Baywatch fans, and they had like lookalikes, and they had like the boat there.
Who was the biggest Baywatch fan of our family?
Oh, Sean, for sure. Sean was big into Baywatch.
It was Mitch.
Yeah, so I could remember just standing aside, holding the video camera as you and Sean wait in line to see Hobie. Now they had a bunch of lookalikes at the time, so they had like a lookalike boat, lookalike CJ, some of the other characters that were on the movie and the show. But Hobie was legit and was real. And I can't remember if you got a chance to shake his hand, take a picture, or get his autograph. Were you able to say anything?
I think so. But at that, Sean was like, I'm a big man, I can do this and everything. And then we got up there and he was like, hi.
Hi.
Yeah. I think we got a picture. I think he signed a picture, gave us a picture of him.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that was a good memory. So there was a lot of good memories there. And on the way down there, I could remember your good friend Lauren working, nearby. I think she worked for a travel agency.
Yeah, it was in that South Hills, that Southland.
Yeah, I don't recall the travel agent, but you could walk through there and you'd see her sitting down at the window and you just go, hey, what's up? You're the only one that has a job.
I know. I was so jealous of her at that time.
She had a car. She had a paycheck.
She had money when we would go out. It was like, and we're, struggling college students that...
Yeah, it was still a good time. I mean, still a lot of memories going down there. But...
Should we talk about the time that you lost Sean in the mall?
Oh, wow. Well, I think I've told this many a times, but I can remember, Sean was a handful. He'll tell you that firsthand, because he's my son. He was a handful.
Here's the mom's version. He was a very active child.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So Mom gave him to me because she couldn't handle him. So I'm like, I'll take Sean. He had a little stuffed doll with him. I don't know if I bought it there or not, but he had his stuff. I think it was a dog.
Do you remember how old he was?
No, he was probably three or four, something like that. So he threw his stuffed animal down the steps, and it was like 2 steps down in Century 3 Mall. So I'm like, Sean, what are you doing that for? So he threw his stupid doll down 2 flights of stairs, and me, without thinking, I'm going to go get the dog, the stuffed dog. So I come get the stuffed dog, go down 2 sets of stairs, come back up 2 sets of stairs, and no Sean. I'm like, all right, where did he go? That was probably bad on me looking for the dog instead of taking Sean with me.
Yeah, he was probably afraid because he was going to get in trouble. So
he's
I don't know, getting out of Dodge before you get back up the stairs.
Yeah, so I don't even know where he went. So I'm like, well, I got to do something. So I ran to the closest store and I just went in, and I think I told the security guard there, I'm like, I lost my son. Can you lock all the doors because he's going to run outside?
Oh my gosh.
So they made a phone call, and I think they put the mall on lockdown, and they were they were looking for a 3 or 4 year old kid that was running around, and I couldn't find him for a good 5 or 10 minutes. But 5 or 10 minutes doesn't seem like long, but it's like an hours and hours to do that. So I finally see the lovely Kim walking towards me. I'm like, oh, well, I gotta tell her. And then right next to her is Sean.
He probably saw me.
Right. He saw you,
and
then he ran towards you.
And I was like, oh, you probably knew, so.
Yeah, so that was, so a lot of good memories there at Century 3 Mall. Oh, they had some nice water fountains there, too, that Sean used to like to throw change in.
Right. That whenever you came in the main door, that big one down
Oh,
there.
yeah, for sure. For sure.
My sister actually worked there for a time, too.
Where did
she worked in, like, the mall management.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I know you worked at the Limited.
Right after I stopped working at the Limited. Because when I was working at the Limited, and then I went to paralegal school.
Oh, yeah.
And then I got out. When I got my job, then you went to school.
Right. And how about the one time that the mall did close and we were inside there and all the stores were closed and there was us two and Sean.
Yeah.
We had to go through the back door maze for employees only to get out of the building. And I had no idea where to go because all the doors look locked.
Yeah, but that's the way, when you work there, that's the way you get out. Because after it closes, you have to clean up the store and everything. So you have to leave after they close the main doors. And it was like a long hallway behind the stores with it was just cinder block, and we was walking down this long hallway, and Sean was so scared.
Yeah, Sean was really scared. So we finally got out of the building and we walked to our car, and then he threw up.
I kept saying, it's okay, it's all right, I walk this way, I know where we're going.
Yeah, so he heaved right in the parking lot, and well, that wasn't uncommon. I mean, when we started building out here in Cannonsburgh, it was a long drive for Sean, and sometimes he would throw up on the way here.
Yeah,
we just open up the door.
Yeah, like
he
a
just
weak stomach.
Yeah, he had a weak stomach. I don't know if it was because he was sitting in the back seat or not, but. Whenever we did that, we would take a break halfway through, and we'd walk around near.
Then he was okay.
Near that fish place down on 19, Capstone Grill.
Oh, right, yeah.
So we would go from Century 3 Mall to Cannonsburgh, and about halfway we'd stop on 19 just so he can get out and walk around and get some fresh air. It was a long drive. I mean, it was 45 minutes.
Well, and it was not. It was like windy roads.
Yeah,
back roads.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So there was a lot of things that happened on a way to Century 3 Mall, and a lot of things that happened from Century 3 Mall to Cannonsburgh. But that was our trek, and a lot of memories that we could talk about with Century 3 Mall.
Yeah, I mean, I think this all came about because we started talking about all of these memories that we had, because Century 3 Mall is now, I don't know if it's officially closed, but it's closed because it's not inhabitable.
Yeah, it's coming to a close. It's not safe to go in there. It's not safe for stores.
Well, it's declined over the years. I mean, they actually had security guards at some of the stores because there was just so much trouble. There weren't a lot of stores in the mall, but there's some good anchor stores, like JCPenney was still there.
Yeah, so you can go to those stores. I don't know
because they have external entrances.
Yeah, but inside the mall, I mean, you could read about it in the paper. You could search online, and you could just see how creepy it is to look inside Century 3 Mall, where all this hustle and bustle was 30 years ago, or in the 70s and 80s, and now it's basically seeing tumbleweeds going down the ramps in the hallways. It's inhabitable, and all the stores are closed, and it's just a big mess. And you never thought it would go downhill like that. You just thought it would keep going, because there's some malls around us that are going pretty strong.
Well, I remember when Century 3 came into being, and we would go there all the time. In South Hills Village, sometimes we would go there. Sometimes we'd go out to Westmoreland.
That always seemed out of the way, though, if we went to South Hills Village.
Yeah, but the other thing, I don't think it was as nice. They hadn't kept it up. They had modernized it. And then you had this brand new, very modern type of huge mall. So you always went there, you know. Now, Southwest Village they're going to be adding on to that, and just it's growing out there.
Yeah.
You know, funny thing is that we sort of left the Pleasant Hills area or Century 3 area, because it was getting too congested.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, you're sitting at a red light for 5 minutes and you're hitting every red light to go 2 miles. So just to get to the mall became a chore.
Well, I remember the way that I would go. Sometimes I would go down to Pittsburgh to go to work every day, and I would go the 885, or sometimes I'd go straight down 51 and go in through the tunnels, the Liberty Tubes. And I just remember how it took me forever. It took me a half an hour to get to work, and I was only going 12 miles from our driveway to the driveway, you know, the lot that I parked at.
Yeah, we definitely moved there like in the peak of whenever everything was booming in the South Hills. I mean, 51, Old Clareton Road, Curry Hollow.
Right.
What was some of the other roads?
Lebanon
Church Road was huge. I mean, it was just so congested. We wanted to move away from all that.
Yeah.
You know, and the stores were booming and stuff, but man, when it took you 4 hours just to get something done at the mall or just to go grocery shopping,
the grocery store, and it just took forever just to get through traffic.
Oh, and the holidays like Christmas, forget that. Just to go in and out of the mall will take you hours just to get in and out of the parking lot. So that was one of the reasons we moved away. But we really loved where we lived in South Park.
Yeah.
I mean, Broughton was nice.
Well, it was convenient. It was
sure.
Close to everything.
Broughton Fire Hall. I mean, heck, Sean was baptized down there at Nativity Catholic Church.
Yeah.
You know, plus we were close to South Park.
Yeah.
You know, everything to do in South Park. So that was huge back then.
The location of our house was not that great because we were at the bottom of a pretty steep hill, and there were cars around all the time.
Yeah,
so
and a pat bus.
You couldn't really ride your bike out. Like Sean couldn't ride his bike out there or anything. But we would take him we'd take him to South Park, or we'd take him to the Broughton Fire Hall.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And he would just ride in the
fire
hall. Oh,
your mom would take him. Yeah. Grandma Jackie would take Sean down in the fire hall, and he'd get to sit in a fire truck and get to meet everybody there. And I thought we were going to stay there forever. Like Sean was going to join be a fireman. Join the fire hall, be a fireman, and do all that, which he might have if we stayed there.
Yeah, and things would have been different.
Yeah, definitely. But we were growing out of the house.
And I mean, at that time, the school district wasn't, I don't know what it's like now, but it wasn't the greatest school district, plus the taxes that we paid.
Yeah, taxes were high. The school district was...
the reason why our taxes were high because we had South Park. They don't, weren't very many businesses in South Park, so the residents had to...
had to pay higher taxes. But we were there during the snowstorm of 1992. I don't know if they named it. I think they just called it the snowstorm. Or 93.
Yeah.
I think they just called it the snowstorm of 93. That was before they started naming storms.
Blizzard?
Yeah, it was a blizzard actually. Yeah. And I remember digging out of that with a shovel. That was
your birthday.
That was my birthday, and I'm digging out of there with a shovel. 2 feet of snow. I remember it piled up against our sliding glass door, and it just looked like a pile of slag. Like somebody just shoveled dirt. 24 inches high.
I remember Sean standing at the sliding glass door, and the snow was above his head.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't have been able to go out. He was walking at that time, you know, but he would go up to the sliding glass door, and I wonder what in his mind, what was going on, because of course he always wanted to be outside.
I mean, to today's standard, everything gets measured with that storm of 93. So they'll go, we'll talk about Snowmageddon. We'll talk about the snow of 93 the blizzard of 93. Everything gets measured to those days. So that was a lot of memories we had living in South Park. I mean, it was convenient being there, but little after little, how many years we stay there?
We were there 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
So then we thought it was time to move. We wanted to move before Sean actually got to school.
Yeah.
Moving to Cannonsburg to Cecil.
Yeah, I remember first seeing Cannonsburg from 79 because my grandmother was out at the Presbyterian Medical Center at the living facility out in off of Bow Street in Washington. So we would always go out that way, and then I remember we would stop at that Playland to take Sean at the Kinsburg McDonald's.
Yeah.
Because you could see it from 79.
They had the balls in there.
And I
where you could
remember
play?
saying to my mom when we drove past the one time, I'm like, oh, I really want to live in a place like this. I really want to be out like this area. And then when we started looking at things, it was so nice because there was nothing really around where we were. So it was nice to move from like the hustle and bustle to this place where we
Country.
could, you
it's
go out to
country.
the country. You lived in the country, but you worked in the city every day. So it was like a little break.
And we looked by the airport, and we looked
Yeah.
out in Plum, and we
Right.
looked out east, and it just didn't really fit our needs. And then I remember seeing an ad in the paper that said highly regarded Cannon McMillan School District. I'm like, what is Cannon McMillan? Well, I found out that it's a wrestling school, and it's a huge school. I mean,
Yeah.
they graduate 400 kids.
Yeah, no, which was massive compared to what we were used
Yeah,
to.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yep. So that was the start of our venture out to Cecil Township. So you'll have to join us next time. I'm coming back, Mark.
Oh, no. The lovely Kim's coming back.
So we can talk to you all about Cecil Township and what it's like to live out here.
Well, that about wraps it up, folks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell. See you next time.
Bye.